In today's current economy, automation is seen as a major threat to workers because it takes away jobs. However, what if there was a way to easily avoid this dilemma? Can we have our cake and eat it too? Can we utilize our technological capabilities to the fullest while protecting the well-being of workers? Absolutely. What if we were to just automate all labor that we possibly can, and then take the remaining amount of human labor that only humans can do, and evenly divide it among all working people, i.e. able-bodied adults, while paying them full-time wages, so that way everyone will have a 1 to 2 day work week, if that. It is completely feasible economically, because if 1 day of work with automation could produce the equivalent of 5 days of work without it, then that 1 day of work with automation would still earn a full-time salary, would it not? What more is there to say? It's a very simple, easy to understand, and feasible idea. We could turn it into a hashtag of some kind, hashtag automate ethically, hashtag ethical automation, hashtag automate everything evenly divide, etc. Change begins to happen by simply talking about it, and once enough people are on the same page with the idea, then we can proceed to making it a reality. Plus, don't you think that there is a certain amount of labor that humans would voluntarily do just to cure boredom? What if you only had to work 4 hours per week? Imagine for your entire life, you had 6.5 days off every week. Your biggest problem would probably be boredom. What to do with all that time off? You might have some cool hobbies to get into, and would enjoy lots of time to just relax and do whatever you want, but there's a good chance that after a while, you might want to work more than 4 hours a week just to cure boredom. It's not uncommon for people to voluntarily do some amount of work once they retire. I've heard multiple people talk about how once they retire, they'd spend a few months or so relaxing and doing nothing productive, but after a while, it gets old and they will voluntarily go back to work to some degree just to cure boredom because they want to do something productive. Think about it. Let's just say that the average person would be willing to work 2 days a week voluntarily just to cure boredom. Well, if automation requires that the average person only needs to work 1 day per week, then that would mean that people would be willing to work more without a financial incentive just to cure boredom alone. At that point, people would no longer need to be financially incentivized to work, and we wouldn't even need to pay wages or have money in general. In other words, once the ratio of voluntary work to cure boredom versus work that's required is met, then we could do away with money in general. So long as people would voluntarily do work more so than is economically required to sustain society, then we wouldn't even need to have money to financially incentivize people to do labor, right? I'm very curious to see what a rigorous economic evaluation would show if it were to study how much work would actually be required if we were to fully automate our society as much as possible. I would predict that there would be a 5 to 10 year transitional phase where a lot of work would be done to build the robots and whatnot, but once that is done, we would have drastically less work to do once the automation infrastructure is fully set up. How much work would be required then? 8 hours per week? 4 hours per week? 2 hours per week? I don't know, but I would love to see what a rigorous economic analysis would prove, and I would love to see this whole system implemented and to experience the results firsthand.